Most people think Antarctica is just ice and snow, lifeless, frozen, and untouched. That's exactly what they want you to believe. In December 2012, a U.S. satellite picked up a strange energy pulse coming from deep within the Antarctic ice. It lasted just 6 seconds. At first, NASA thought it was a glitch. But exactly 12 days later, the same pulse appeared again, identical in frequency, shape, and length. And then again, 12 days after that. This wasn't random. Something buried under the ice was emitting a signal, perfectly timed and consistent. It was as if it was trying to talk. Only a handful of people were told. The official report labeled it as geothermal activity. But that was a lie. A team of 5 specialists, engineers, geologists, and linguists, were quietly sent to a classified Antarctic base near the signal site. They were told they'd be studying ice formations. None of them were told about the pulse until after they landed. One of those scientists, Dr. Lena Morse, never came back. What we know now comes from a single data leak. 72 hours of audio logs and a digital notebook recovered from her personal satellite device, smuggled out by a member of the original team. According to Lena's entries, the team traveled by snowcap for 6 hours into a restricted zone that didn't appear on any map. It was there that they saw for the first time a perfect black pyramid half buried in the ice. No signs of erosion, no snow on its surface, smooth as glass. It was huge, at least 500 feet tall. But the strangest part? It didn't reflect sunlight like normal stone. It seemed to absorb light, making it hard to even focus on. Lena described it as looking at something that shouldn't exist. The team set up instruments around the structure. Geologist Mike Halvorsen ran seismic tests and found no surrounding rock foundation. It wasn't sitting on the ice. It was in it, as if it had been there long before the ice even formed. The linguist, Dr. Eli Navarro, found engravings along one side of the pyramid. The markings didn't match any known language, but some symbols were repeating in a pattern. A circle with 3 lines, a triangle within a triangle, a spiral that started inward instead of out. Every 12th line had the same symbol, a pulse wave. As they decoded more, something even stranger happened. On the 6th day, all the team's watches lost time. Every single one. Not seconds, an exact 47 minutes gone. The base's atomic clock showed the same, but satellite data had no gaps. To the outside world, nothing had changed. It was the first sign that time around the pyramid wasn't behaving normally. On the 12th day, Lena wrote that she woke up just before 3 a.m. to a low humming sound. When she stepped outside, the entire sky above the pyramid was glowing with a faint green light, like the aurora, but motionless. Instruments picked up another pulse at the exact same moment, but this time the signal was stronger and it lasted 9 seconds instead of 6. That's when everything started to go wrong. Their radio communications failed. Batteries drained instantly. Drones crashed or went missing. And worst of all, Mike disappeared during a routine scan around the base. They found his footprints in the snow, walking in a straight line toward the pyramid. Then they just stopped. No return prints. No struggle. Just gone. On the 15th day, Lena and Eli made a decision. They would enter the pyramid. The pulse was growing stronger, and whatever was inside was no longer just waiting. It was calling. Inside, the pyramid didn't feel like a building. Lena wrote that it felt alive. The walls had no seams, no panels. The material didn't reflect light. It bent it. Their flashlights lit up corners that didn't exist and cast shadows with no source. Deeper inside, they found a chamber with a giant monolith floating 3 feet above the ground, spinning slowly. Around it were more symbols, pulses, numbers, coordinates. Eli was convinced it was a countdown. He believed the pyramid was not a structure, but a device, a transmitter, and it was waking up. Then came the final entry. Lena wrote that on the 24th day, they intercepted a brief radio signal in a burst of static. It wasn't English, but it was human. A woman's voice, crying for help. Then, something chilling. We are still inside. We never left. Eli decoded more symbols that night. He believed the pyramid wasn't built in Antarctica. It had been buried there, hidden from something, and every 12 days, it sent out a warning. Not to Earth, but to the sky. A flare in the dark, begging not to be found. The team never returned. 3 months later, the U.S. government sealed the area, claiming environmental risk. Satellite images of the pyramid were scrubbed from public archives. Research stations within 500 miles were quietly shut down, but the pulses continued, every 12 days, without fail. In 2019, an amateur radio astronomer in Chile picked up a faint repeating signal at 2.4 gigahertz, almost identical to Wi-Fi. He traced it back to Antarctica. Within weeks, he disappeared without a trace. His blog was deleted. His equipment was sold at auction by his family, though no relatives ever came forward. So what is the pyramid really? Some believe it's alien, an ancient warning system placed here before humans ever existed. Others say it's not alien at all, but a relic from a past civilization far more advanced than ours, destroyed and erased from history. But the most disturbing theory? That the pyramid is a lock, a prison cell, not to keep us out, but to keep something in. And the pulses? They're not warnings. They're signals of containment, a timer. And with each longer pulse, the lock weakens. As of today, the pulse lasts 14 seconds. Still, every 12 days. Whatever it's holding, it's waking up